To our third session of product knowledge and information, and I'd like to welcome everybody to our talk today. And sorry, just a sec here. All right, there we go. My apologies for that. I hope everybody can hear me, that the audio is clear, and I hope the signal is good today. So I know sometimes we do have challenges with our internet and things like that. So let's hope it maintains for our half an hour today. And today's topic is about COLOSTEM, which is, in my opinion, one of the finest products New Image International has put to market. And as you can well see by the name, the emphasis on how it improves and enhances stem cell production. So what I want to just run through is what we're going to talk about this afternoon. So you've got an overview right from the beginning. What are the topics we're going to talk about on COLOSTEM? And there will be two main areas of focus. Obviously the first one, protecting our bodies from disease, and the second one is anti-aging. So when you think of COLOSTEM, and that's a bottle of 60 capsules here is the COLOSTEM, you got to think along the lines of anti-aging and immunity, because this is really what it's focused on. So we're going to talk about stem cells and stem cell production, where and how our bodies produce stem cells. Then we're going to take a closer look inside COLOSTEM. In other words, we're going to look at what are the ingredients that make it so special. So right at the end, we're going to also have a few questions. And I'd like to just let people know that these questions are for our prize giveaway, which is for the shape-up. There will be 6 cans, and each lucky person will get 2 cans each. So we're going to have a few questions, so stay tuned right to the end and pay attention, because obviously I've only got 3 questions, and the first people that answer those questions, we will note your name. We'd be able to see your name come up on the screen, and you will be contacted by New Image, and they will send the prize to you. So I also want to point out that the prize is for guests only and not for old members. So old members, please give our new guests a chance. And if you do happen to answer the question and we see your name as a member, unfortunately you won't get the prize. So there we go. Okay, so I'd like to just move into our next area of focus here. So I want you to remember this. You'll notice on the little bottle here, it's got a little circle, and there are 3 words in that circle, and that really is a really good summing up of COLOSTEM. In other words, rejuvenate, revitalize, and restore. So what does that mean? Well, certainly rejuvenate. When we're talking about COLOSTEM, we are really focused on its properties of anti-aging. And don't we all want to look a few years younger? And revitalize, which would mean more energy, and certainly restore, which means better healing and improved immunity. So it's a phenomenal product, and I got to say, I've been on COLOSTEM myself for the last few weeks, and you know, there's no better feedback than when you're on a product yourself. It's all very well hearing the information, but the true test is when you're actually taking a product and you're feeling the effects almost on a daily basis. And I've certainly felt, number one, a great change in my sleep. So my sleep capacity is improved. I've had a better quality sleep, and I've just felt my energy changing. My energy's improved tremendously. And nothing else has really changed other than me being on the COLOSTEM, and you know, the Immufort as well. I do like that for the antibodies. So and then I kind of really, in preparing for this talk, started to look at what is in this product then that can create such a dramatic change in getting to the end point of improving energy, improving all sorts of things. So we can really go on about it, but I'd like to just settle into the presentation and go through more about what's in this amazing product so that you can get a better idea and better knowledge and make a decision for yourself. So I'm speaking from my own experience, and certainly there are the studies and the clinical trials which show the science behind the product, and that's what really interests me. I love the science, as you probably all know. We need to know. So we're going to jump into, let's talk stem cells. What are they basically? What do they do, and how do they work? So if we're talking stem cells, I want you to think about the lines of aging. So they are the original cells. In other words, they're the cells that other cells came from or stem from. So hence the word stem cells. So they are the original cells, and these are the cells that make us become less resistant to infection and chronic disease, and also help us repair the damage to the cells. So we want to know, how do we protect ourselves from infections and disease, and what do adult stem cells do? So they are really responsible for growth and repair of tissues and organs in the body. And we also call them unspecialized cells, meaning they can become any cell in your body. I find that quite amazing, actually, that as an unspecialized cell, it can turn into a bone cell, a neuron, a heart cell, a pancreas cell. So it's quite amazing that they are able to get into the body and target certain areas of the body where they become cells in that area. So I hope that makes sense. So how do our bodies, the question would be, is maybe how do our bodies produce these cells? So where and how do our bodies produce them? So maybe, and I'm just looking at my screen here, anybody want to type in there where you think the area of the body is that produces stem cells? So I'm just looking at the screen. Any takers up on that? Not at the moment, I see. Well, it comes from the bone marrow. So the bone marrow releases these stem cells into the bloodstream. And then one says, well, what happens next? These stem cells migrate to target areas in the body, and they then differentiate into cells with specific features. So they then move into the organs and help the organs heal and repair. So what's the bottom line then? So what does all this mean? So it means that the more stem cells you have in the body and in the bloodstream, the better chance your body has at repairing itself. And I was looking at a bit of information from Stephen Hawking. As you might know him, he has sadly passed, and he was a great loss, but he was a quantum physicist. And he had this to say about stem cells. He said, stem cell research is a key to developing cures for degenerative conditions like Parkinson's and motor neuron disease. And as you know, that's what he died from, ALS, or motor neurons disease. He had quite a lot to do with his input on stem cells. So how can we increase our supply of stem cells? So when we look at COLOSTEM, we say, what is COLOSTEM and what do the studies show? So let's talk a little bit about that for a moment. So it's a patented formulation of colostrum. So it does have the bovine colostrum in it, and it also has a range of botanical extracts, botanical herbs, nutraceuticals is another word for them, that optimize the production of adult stem cells in the body. So that's really what it is. It's a patented formulation. And of note are our 2 stem cell clinical trials published in one of the prestigious medical publications, the Bentham Open Nutraceutical Journal, where colostrum capsules were able to double the number of stem cells released from the bone marrow. And if you can double your stem cells, you can just imagine what that does to your health, your immunity, and also the health and repair of various organs in the body. So I place a lot of value in that, especially knowing that, you know, when we get into our later years, in our 60s and 70s, we know that our capacity to produce bone marrow gets reduced considerably. So if we want to look younger and feel younger and have more energy, we need to look further about what we can do in our supplementation. And please don't forget your nutrition. Okay. So moving on again to just another study that was done in 2011, New Image initiated a research program to establish the effects of colostrum and other key nutrients on adult stem cells. So we want to talk about this study because it was an in vitro study. So you know the difference between in vitro and in vivo. In vitro is in the petri dish, it means in glass. And in vivo is in animals and humans. So that's really the basic difference between the two. So colostrum alone showed significant increase in cell activity. But here's the key with COLOSTEM. If colostrum on its own showed significant increase in the stem cell activity, by adding the nutraceuticals, made it really produce furthermore. So it was the combination of the colostrum and the nutraceuticals that actually made this product very, very effective in producing 50% more stem cells. So there were two very, very important points here. One, it significantly improves more stem cells in the bone marrow. And secondly, significantly increases stem cells in the blood. So you've got those two criteria, and that equals value in your health. So we want to look at what's on the label. What's inside? You've got a list of the botanicals, and we start with, first of all, it's the colostrum powder at 200 milligrams. And here we are talking, guys, about each capsule, not per 2 capsules, each capsule, 200 milligrams of bovine colostrum powder. Secondly, we've got skullcap root extract at 100 milligrams. We've got date fruit extract at 100. It's also called ziziphus, which is the botanical name for date fruit extract. Sounds like a Chinese swear word, doesn't it? Ziziphus. And turmeric extract, so everybody knows turmeric. Yeast extract, seaweed extract, and L-carnosine, and it's got a small amount of the milk phospholipid complex, which is almost standard in most of New Image's products. So just to mention here as well, the directions or the dose for use is 2 caps 1 to 3 times a day. So please pay attention to some of these things because they may just come up in our questions at the end of it. Okay, so that's really what it is, and we're going to talk a little bit about the benefits of each one of those nutraceuticals. So we're going to start with skullcap root extract. So this particular extract is shown to help fighting cancer cells, number one. It calms the nerves and anxiety. So as I'm going through these points, you know, if we take each component of this and you combine all of this, I can promise you there's a lot of power in selecting the right combination of things that work very, very effectively together. So, you know, when we look, and when I was doing my research on this, I thought, wow, you know, if this is what each component has, we have a lot of value in this product on the anti-aging and repairing damaged cells. So let's just go a little bit further. Skullcap root is also an anti-inflammatory. Helps with insomnia, so that certainly helped my sleep. I was really battling to sleep, and now I'm getting a decent 6 or 7 hours a night. As I said, the only thing I changed was, you know, adding COLOSTEM into my nutrient range. Certainly improving cardiovascular health by stabilizing blood pressure. So this is just one component. And studies also show that it assists with weight loss and the control of diabetes. So we know that New Image has had a lot of emphasis on working with clients with diabetes, and the phenomenal success many people have had with diabetes. So keep this in mind, because it's able to enhance the production of insulin in the pancreas, and also stabilizes blood sugar, and also reduces triglycerides. So that's just the one. If we go to date fruit, it has a phenomenal nutrient profile, assists in digestion and bowel issues, high in antioxidants. This is the date fruit. Also shown to assist in brain health. It is also an anti-inflammatory and improves cardiovascular health by stabilizing blood pressure. So you'll see there's a lot of common points on each one of these components. So we're going to move on to turmeric, and I must tell you straight off, there are two components that I am really excited about, and turmeric is one, and the L-carnosine, which is coming in a moment, is the other one. These two products, guys, are so efficient, and they've been around for a long time, and they're very underestimated. So turmeric, it's organic turmeric. It is nature's best anti-inflammatory, not the spice that you get from your shop, but a proper organic quality turmeric, which also shows anti-cancer effects. It's very promising in some of the clinical trials. And what I found very interesting here was how turmeric appears to have the ability to reprogram the self-destructing mechanism back into cancer cells. So let me say that again. It has the ability to reprogram self-destructing mechanism back into cancer cells. So what does that mean? Cancer cells want to grow. So there's quite a bit of science over it, and I don't want to get into too much detail about it, but the reprogramming of self-destruct means it helps the cancer cell destruct instead of grow, and that's what we want. We want them destroyed, we want them out of our bodies, and this is what turmeric has shown. So the other word for it, by the way, is curcumin or curcuma longa. You'll see on the right next to the name of the product, you've also got its botanical name, and that's curcuma longa, or curcumin is an easier way to remember that. So it plays an important role in treating lung disease, brain disease, a variety of cancers as a supplementation product, and also various cancers of the breast, brain, blood, colon, kidney, liver, pancreas, skin, and may also help speed up recovery after surgery, and effectively treats rheumatoid arthritis and other inflammatory conditions. So remember, number one, it's a phenomenal anti-inflammatory. We're talking about yeast extract. It's primarily a flavoring agent, but it also shows its capacity to boost energy levels, improve nervous system function, metabolism, and strangely enough, eyesight. So speaking about that, I've noticed too that my own eyesight seems to be getting clearer. You know, I can see long distance, but I do use glasses for. And I was reading my phone, messages early on without my glasses, and I thought, oh wow, this has been a while since I've been able to do that. So these are very subtle changes, but I think it's quite amazing that you start to notice what's going on in your own body. We're going to move on to seaweed, the seaweed extract, also known as fusiodon. It's a highly bioactive compound found naturally in brown seaweed. Also has a very large nutrient profile, and it shows great benefits on the gut microbiome and the immune system. So it's an antimicrobial, so we're talking about seaweed extract. So antimicrobial for gut bacteria and fungi, tomato. It's also an antiviral and an anti-cancer agent. So a new image, yet again, I've got to say, you guys have really handpicked these components. Now, my bombshell today is L-carnosine. L-carnosine, wow. Maybe nobody doesn't know too much about this particular amino acid, but I must tell you, there's a lot of information online about L-carnosine, and wow, I think we can do even more with L-carnosine, because I know that the milligram here is only 20 milligrams. So if you take in this 3 times a day, you know, what's it, 120 milligrams a day. And I do want to point out that to really see the effects of L-carnosine, you need at least 1,000 milligrams a day. So just a suggestion, we may want to up our intake of L-carnosine to help it along in COLOSTEM. So what is L-carnosine? It's a dipeptide. Okay, it's got 2, and the body produces it from combining 2 amino acids, which is alanine and histidine. So that's how it makes it. It's 2 peptides, 2 amino acids. It's also found really in meat, like red meat, chicken and fish, for example. So vegetarians generally don't get enough carnosine. They're very, very suboptimal amounts of carnosine in their diet. So my suggestion is, if you don't eat meat, up your intake of L-carnosine. It's a phenomenal added amino acid. The research on this, as I've found in the last few days, is just endless. It's quite amazing. So it is primarily an antioxidant, and the largest concentration is found in the heart, muscles, and brain. And you will always find carnosine as a popular supplement for anti-aging. So when you go online or you're looking at more information, maybe on YouTube, the one commonality is anti-aging carnosine. And why? Because it assists with neutralizing free radicals and helps with oxidative damage. We spoke about that a week or so ago. What are free radicals? What is oxidative damage? And it's also one of the best proven anti-aging supplements out there. Isn't that amazing? And back in 2012, I don't know if you remember Dr. Oz, he had an entire program dedicated to the benefits of carnosine. So it also helps prevent damage caused when sugars bind with proteins, and that's called glycation. We've got just a few more points of L-carnosine. Helps with wound healing, and will also help cognitive functions. So we're going to really just move a little bit further into Alzheimer's and dementia and things like that, because it shows very, very promising results in those guys that are really struggling with those mental disorders. Your cognitive function, your ability to remember, put things into perspective in your mind. Carnosine has shown phenomenal results in cognitive function. So keep that in mind. There's an enormous amount of information and studies on its ability for that. It's also known as a heavy metal chelator by removing heavy metal accumulation in brain cells. So another reason on dementia and Alzheimer's is you know, the heavy metals in the brain causing confusion, and how do we get them out? So chelator means it binds with and helps eliminate the accumulation of that. So absolutely fantastic. You'll notice L-carnosine coming up a lot in sports supplements, because it's a pH buffer in the muscle. For example, it helps to reduce lactic acid buildup for athletes, so they can have a faster recovery. So an absolutely amazing product there. So the two, for me, the main two nutraceuticals would be the turmeric and the L-carnosine. And I would advise, if you can, to get yourself a good quality grade L-carnosine and maybe just up your intake. I do incidentally have a combination of 2 other, when I say products, more components that we can add together that form an incredible buffer together. I don't want to talk about them now, but if anybody wants to know, you can go to my Facebook page, which is Dr. Anthony Hoffer, and I will happily share that information with you, because I think we're moving into an area now where we've done a lot of research on the products, but we feel that, you know, in some instances where the dosages are a little bit low and people are needing extra help with things and they don't know where to turn, I'm finding out a lot more information about certain supplements and specific supplementation to help with specific issues. So this product, COLOSTEM, tends to fill most of those boxes. And I know that I'm going on about the carnosine and turmeric, but the big key here was the combination of these nutraceuticals. In other words, the ability to work together is what makes it as strong as it does. So colostrum on its own, we all know the benefits of colostrum on its own. So if colostrum can do that on its own, and now you add all these nutraceuticals to it, you really have a powerhouse. And the clinical studies are showing this information. So, you know, when I look at the studies and I look at how I have changed in my cognitive function, my sleep capacity, my mood, my energy, you know, you tend to want to talk about it and share the information. So I hope this has been some help for you. And if you've got any questions or suggestions, please let us know. We'd love to hear from you. I would like to move into the questions right now, so I hope you've been paying attention. And we're going to ask the first question. So we will be watching your answers. So guests, those people that are new to the show, please participate here. You've got a chance of winning yourself each 2 cans of Shape Up. So the first question is, what is the botanical name for turmeric? Or what is the other name that they call turmeric? Let's see if we can see your answers for that. All right. What is the botanical name or the other name for turmeric? Okay. Question number 2. What is the recommended dose or directions for use? In other words, how many caps per day and how many times a day? Let's have a look at that. All right. So what is the recommended dose? And lastly, is L-carnosine a tripeptide or dipeptide? So if you were listening to me, you would have remembered that, hopefully. So I'm just looking at the replies on the screen here. So is L-carnosine a tripeptide or a dipeptide? Okay, well, I'm getting the dosages here. Well, we're going to see who's coming in there with the correct answers. Okay, guests only, right. Okay, guys, fantastic. Brilliant. Thank you so much for your feedback. Wow, there we go. So some of you were listening. Brilliant. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. It was it's quite amazing how quickly 30 minutes goes by. It feels like I've only just begun, but then I am a motor mouth and I do like to get on with it. So we hope that gave you a good overview on COLOSTEM, and I really hope that you have a superb Saturday afternoon. Go and relax. Relaxation is what it's all about. Get those nerves to calm down. And I hope you have a good sleep tonight. And don't forget to take your COLOSTEM. It's a brilliant, brilliant product, guys. So get your little bottle as soon as possible. Take care. We'll see you soon. Go well.